Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like your husband looks at you, but doesn't see you anymore? Like the spark that once set your hearts on fire has quietly faded into routine. The same conversations, the same rhythm, the same tired moments where you catch yourself wondering what happened to us. It's not that he doesn't love you. It's not that he doesn't care. But somewhere along the way, the passion that once felt electric turned into something ordinary. And I know how painful that can be, because when a man stops desiring you, when you feel like you're no longer the woman who makes his eyes light up, it's easy to start questioning your worth, your beauty, even your place in his heart. But here's the truth: desire doesn't die. It simply goes to sleep. And with the right energy, the right mindset, and the right actions, you can wake it up again. You can make him see you, want you, and respect you like he did in the beginning, only this time even deeper. So today, I'm going to share with you the 5 proven secrets to make your husband desire and respect you again. And these aren't games or manipulations. They're shifts in energy and behavior that reignite attraction, rebuild emotional connection, and remind him exactly why he fell for you in the first place. Let's dive in. There's a moment in every relationship when you start to feel that distance, when the man who once couldn't stop texting you, touching you, or admiring you suddenly seems distracted. Maybe he's quieter now. Maybe he takes you for granted. And naturally, your instinct as a loving woman is to try harder. You start doing more, giving more, talking more. You chase the connection that once came so easily. But here's the painful truth. The more you chase, the more it runs. Because desire doesn't grow through pursuit. It grows through inspiration. When you were first together, he was drawn to your energy. You were glowing, independent, spontaneous. You didn't need him to feel beautiful. You were you. That effortless confidence was magnetic. But over time, as the relationship settled, that same energy often shifts. You start to prioritize his comfort over your own fulfillment, his mood over your needs, and slowly your world starts revolving around him. Without realizing it, you become predictable, emotionally available at all times, waiting for his attention instead of living your own vibrant life. And that's when the spark starts to fade. Men don't fall in love with women who chase them. They fall in love with women who inspire them. The kind of woman who makes him think, I don't want to lose her. And inspiration doesn't come from effort, it comes from energy. It's in how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you move. It's in that mysterious confidence that says, I love you, but I don't need you to define me. When a man senses that, he starts to lean in again. He starts to chase you. So how do you shift from chasing to inspiring? You create space. You stop over explaining your feelings just to get reassurance. You stop being constantly available. You stop trying to make him understand your worth, and instead you live it. You start doing things that light you up again, meeting your friends, diving into hobbies, dressing up for yourself. You start smiling more, not because he noticed you, but because you noticed yourself again. That shift in energy from seeking love to embodying it changes everything. A man is drawn to a woman who is alive, who moves through life with purpose and playfulness. When he sees you investing in yourself, enjoying your life, and not hinging your happiness on him, something inside him reignites. He begins to remember the woman he fell for, the one who had her own world, her own rhythm, her own light. That's when desire wakes up again. So stop chasing his attention. Inspire it. Be the woman who walks with quiet confidence, who loves deeply but never loses herself in that love. Because when you shift from proving your value to living it, you don't have to run after his desire. It comes running back to you. There's something deeply magnetic about a woman who is connected to her feminine energy. You can feel it before she even speaks. It's in the way she moves, soft, unhurried, graceful. It's in her eyes, open, curious, full of emotion. And it's in her presence, that calm, nurturing warmth that makes people around her feel grounded. When a woman radiates her feminine energy, she doesn't have to try to attract love. She becomes love. But somewhere along the way, many women lose touch with that side of themselves. Life gets busy. Responsibilities pile up. You step into doing mode, organizing, managing, fixing, holding everything together. And slowly that softness, that ease, that sensuality that used to flow through you naturally begins to fade. The truth is, masculine energy, the energy of control, direction, and problem solving is necessary in life. But when you live in it constantly, it becomes exhausting. And in a relationship, it can quietly shift the dynamic. The man no longer feels the space to lead, to protect, to pursue, because you've already taken that role. And over time, that imbalance starts to kill desire. He doesn't stop loving you, but he stops feeling the polarity that drew him to you in the first place. Reconnecting with your feminine energy doesn't mean becoming passive or submissive. It means returning to your natural rhythm, where you lead with emotion instead of logic, softness instead of control. It means learning to receive again, to let things come to you, to trust that you don't have to chase love. You can attract it simply by being in your truth. When a woman allows herself to feel, to laugh freely, to cry openly, to express without fear, she becomes electric. Her presence alone inspires a man to step into his masculine. He feels needed not because you're dependent, but because your openness invites him to show up fully. Men are instinctively drawn to feminine energy because it balances them. It reminds them of warmth, of emotion, of something beyond logic. When you soften your tone, when you speak from feeling instead of frustration, when you let yourself be playful instead of guarded, it triggers something powerful in him. He starts wanting to be around you more, to protect you, to connect with you. He feels alive in your softness. So slow down, stop trying to manage every detail, breathe, let yourself feel beautiful again. Take time to nurture your body, your soul, your sensuality. Move to music, dance alone in your room, take a long bath. Wear what makes you feel desirable, not for him, but for you. When you reconnect to your feminine energy, your husband will feel it instantly. He'll sense something has changed, not because you're trying to win him over, but because you've come home to yourself. And that, more than anything else, is what makes a man fall in love with you all over again. There's a kind of strength in a woman that doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't raise its voice, doesn't demand attention, it simply exists. You can see it in her eyes, hear it in her calm tone, and feel it in the way she carries herself. That's the strength of a woman who knows her worth, the kind who doesn't beg for respect because she naturally commands it. And in relationships, that's exactly the energy that makes a man not only desire you, but revere you. See, when a woman starts feeling that her husband isn't respecting her, when he's dismissive, distant, or careless with her emotions, her first instinct is often to fight for that respect. She argues more. She tries to make him understand her point. She over-explains, hoping that if she says it the right way, he'll finally see her value. But the truth is, respect isn't something you can convince someone to give you. The more you played for it, the more it slips away, because begging for respect sends the message that you don't already believe you deserve it. And people treat you according to the standard you set for yourself. Commanding respect starts internally. It's in the way you talk to yourself when no one's watching. It's in the decisions you make when you know you're being undervalued. It's in that quiet but unshakable energy that says, I know what I bring to the table. When a man senses that, when he feels that grounded certainty in you, something shifts in how he treats you. He begins to listen more carefully. He watches his tone. He becomes more attentive, because your self-respect creates an invisible boundary that tells him how to love you. Now, doesn't mean shutting down emotionally or becoming cold. True strength isn't harsh, it's graceful. It's being able to express your disappointment without losing your composure. It's setting boundaries without anger and walking away from disrespect without needing to explain why. That quiet decisiveness is far more powerful than any argument could ever be. Because men don't respect drama, they respect dignity. Think about it. When you were first dating, what made him admire you? It wasn't just your beauty, it was your confidence, your calm control. You had standards, you had boundaries. You didn't settle for crumbs of attention because you knew your value. And that energy, that quiet confidence, is what made him rise to meet you. Over time, life can blur those lines. You become forgiving, too understanding, too accommodating. But love doesn't require you to lose your power. In fact, the moment you reclaim it, love deepens because respect returns. Start by holding yourself accountable for how you allow others to treat you. If your husband speaks to you harshly, don't yell back. Calmly walk away. If he dismisses your emotions, don't chase him for validation. Express how you feel once clearly, then give him the space to reflect. When you stop reacting out of fear and start responding from self-worth, he'll feel that change. It's disarming, and it makes him reassess how he's been showing up. And here's the beautiful part: when a woman respects herself, it invites her man to rise into his best self too. He'll want to be the kind of man who's worthy of her calm strength. Because deep down, men crave a woman they can look up to, not one who demands respect. but one who embodies it so effortlessly that he can't help but give it. So don't try to convince your husband to see your value, be your value. Speak less, act more. Set your boundaries with grace and then live by them, because the moment you start honoring yourself again, the dynamic changes. He stops taking you for granted and starts realizing, maybe for the first time in a long time, that he's lucky to have you. And that quiet, unwavering confidence, that's what makes him not just desire you, but respect you for life. There's a reason why in the beginning of every great love story, there's mystery. You know that electric phase where everything feels new, unpredictable, and exciting. That's when your husband couldn't stop thinking about you. He wondered what you were doing, what you were feeling, what you were going to say next. You were a puzzle he couldn't wait to solve. But somewhere along the line, after routines, responsibilities, and years of familiarity, that mystery faded. And with it, the spark that once made his heart race started to dim. See, the truth is, mystery is not about playing games. It's about keeping your essence alive. It's about reminding your partner that there's still so much to discover about you, even after years together. When a man feels that there's more to you than what's already been revealed, he becomes curious again. He starts to chase, not because he has to, but because he wants to. The problem is, most women try to reconnect with their husbands through pressure instead of mystery. They push for more attention, more affection, more validation. They say, why don't you touch me the way you used to? Or why don't you talk to me anymore? And while those feelings are completely valid, here's the hard truth. Pressure never creates desire. It only creates distance. When you try to pull a man closer with force, he naturally leans away. But when you draw him in with curiosity, with calm energy, with emotional unpredictability, he leans in without even realizing it. Mystery is about energy, not manipulation. It's the energy of not being fully predictable. It's when you stop narrating every detail of your life and start living a little more for yourself again. It's when you bring back the woman who had her own passions, her own light, her own private world. Because that's the woman he fell for, not the one who tried to fit into his life completely, but the one who had her own. Start by giving him space to wander. Don't always be available. If he's used to you waiting up for him every night, surprise him, go to bed early, or be out with a friend, enjoying yourself. If he's used to knowing your every move, keep some things just for you. When he asks how your day was, instead of giving a full play-by-play, smile and say, "It was good, I'll tell you about it later." That gentle sense of mystery triggers a natural curiosity. It reminds him that you are still your own person, and that's what keeps attraction alive. Also, bring back unpredictability in your energy. If every interaction feels routine or emotionally heavy, he begins to tune out. But when you bring in lightness, a playful smile, a teasing remark, a spontaneous plan, you reignite that chemistry. Men crave emotional variety. They may not admit it, but what keeps them drawn to a woman is when she surprises them emotionally, not with drama, but with vibrance. And remember, you can't rebuild desire through control. You rebuild it through contrast. Let him feel your absence sometimes, not as punishment, but as a reminder of your value. When he senses that you're not waiting on him to feel fulfilled, that you're genuinely happy and emotionally alive, he starts to miss you. He starts to remember the woman he once pursued, and he wants to experience her again. Mystery creates space, and in that space, desire breathes again. It's what turns comfortable back into captivated. So stop trying to prove that you're still worth his attention. Instead, become the woman who doesn't chase it, because she already knows she's magnetic. When you move through life with quiet confidence and emotional independence, your husband won't just desire you again. He'll find himself falling for you all over, wondering how he ever forgot just how extraordinary you really are. When a man stops showing desire, when he becomes distant or emotionally cold, most women instinctively start looking for what they can do to make him love them again. Try harder, give more, fix more, love more. But the truth is, the most powerful thing you can do to make your husband desire and respect you again is to fall in love with yourself first. Because a woman who is deeply in love with her own life, with who she is, what she stands for, and how she feels, radiates an energy that no man can ignore. In the beginning, that's what made him drawn to you. You had your own light. You were playful, confident, curious, full of your own world. He didn't fall in love with you because you needed him. He fell for you because you were alive. But over time, as relationships mature, that light can start to dim. You give so much of yourself to the relationship, to your family, to your responsibilities that you slowly begin to forget who you were before all of it. You stop dressing up for yourself. You stop dreaming for yourself. You stop prioritizing your happiness. And before you know it, you've become a version of yourself that exists more for others than for you. But here's the truth: desire begins where self-love lives. A woman who is fulfilled, confident, and proud of her life doesn't need to chase admiration. She attracts it. Her presence feels magnetic, not because she's trying to impress, but because she's genuinely glowing from within. She walks differently. She speaks differently. She carries an energy that says, "I'm happy with who I am." And that energy makes a man look at her not just with attraction, but with awe. Falling in love with yourself, again, isn't selfish. It's essential. Start by giving yourself permission to matter again. Reconnect with the things that make you feel beautiful and alive. Maybe it's painting, dancing, journaling, dressing up, or simply taking yourself out for coffee. These small acts aren't trivial, they're sacred. They remind you that your happiness doesn't have to depend on anyone else's behavior. When you begin to honor yourself again, your energy changes. You become lighter, freer, and more magnetic. And your husband will feel that. He'll sense the shift, even if he can't explain it. Suddenly, you're not the woman waiting for his validation. You're the woman living in her joy. That contrast will pull him in, because men are instinctively drawn to women who love themselves, not in an arrogant way, but in a grounded, self-assured way. When he sees you laughing again, glowing again, pursuing your own dreams again, he'll start remembering the woman he first fell in love with. But here's the most beautiful part: when you fall back in love with yourself, you stop needing him to fill your emptiness. You start sharing love, not seeking it. And that shift changes everything. He stops feeling pressured to make you happy and starts wanting to make you happy, because he's now responding to your light, not your lack. So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly did something just for you? When was the last time you looked in the mirror and smiled because you liked what you saw, not physically, but emotionally? That woman, the one who's confident, content, and whole, she's still there. She just needs you to choose her again. The most irresistible version of you isn't the one who's perfect or pleasing. It's the one who's alive, the one who walks with self-respect, who speaks with softness, and who knows that she's enough even when no one else says it. When you rediscover that woman, you don't have to chase desire, it finds you. Because when you're deeply in love with yourself, your husband can't help but fall in love with you all over again. Let me tell you something powerful. When a man falls in love with a woman, what truly captures his heart isn't her looks, her body, or even her words. It's her energy. It's the way she walks into a room and owns her presence. It's the way she looks at him, not to seek approval, but to share warmth. It's her laughter, her confidence, her mystery, her strength wrapped in softness. That's what made him fall for you before, and that's what can make him fall in love with you all over again. But here's the secret. You don't need to chase his attention to bring that spark back. You just have to remember who you were before you forgot yourself in the relationship. The woman who had her own dreams, her own boundaries, her own glow. When you reconnect with that version of you, when you start living from love instead of fear, from peace instead of pressure, everything begins to shift. He starts to notice you again. He starts to feel you again. Not because you demanded it, but because you became magnetic again. You became that woman who moves through life with quiet confidence and emotional depth. And that energy, that self-love, it's irresistible. Remember this, the way he treats you is a reflection of how you treat yourself. So if you want him to respect you, start respecting your own needs. If you want him to desire you, start desiring your own life. When you become emotionally fulfilled from within, you stop chasing connection and start attracting it. So today, make a promise to yourself not to fix your husband, not to change him, but to reclaim you. Reclaim your confidence, your playfulness, your feminine energy, because when you do, you won't have to ask for his love. He'll feel it. He'll see the woman he fell for standing right in front of him again. And that's when he won't just love you out of habit, he'll love you out of admiration. Now, if this message spoke to you, if you felt even a spark of truth in it, don't let it fade, go live it. And if you want more deep, heart-centered advice to rekindle love and attraction in your relationship, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and share this with a woman who needs to hear it today. Because the truth is, you don't need to chase love, you just need to become it.